Hello, hello. This is Jonathan with MarketplaceGOLD, and today I have got what I think is going to be a high energy, white pilling, limitlessly optimistic interview with Adam Meister, aka BitcoinMeister. How you doing this morning, bro?
Oh, I'm pumped. I'm ready to go, baby.
So I found you on BitChute. Remarkably, you have a YouTube channel that has not been suspended. I don't know how you pull that off because you drop a lot of truth there on YouTube. We'll see how much longer they let you do that.
Not much. I've been suspended a few times now. It's pretty crazy.
So Adam predicted the $1 trillion Bitcoin market cap a while back. He's been quite prescient. He has been in Bitcoin since 2013 when he paid $210 for a Bitcoin. And today he is much more than a 50,000-aire because of three of his favorite words: deferral of gratification, right?
Yes. Or buy and hold. I mean, there's another three awesome words right there too. Just by doing nothing with my Bitcoin, just letting it sit there. Now, I do want to say one. I've been in it since November of 2013. I actually got 2 Bitcoin in November 2013. They were around 600 each. The $210 was the cheapest I ever paid. That was in 2015. So I've been in it for a while, and I paid some low prices, no doubt about that.
Yeah. And how did you? I mean, you're a younger guy, it would appear, and young men are not well known for their capacity to defer gratification. So how did you pull that off? I mean, you live there in, is it Miami?
Well, I'm in Miami right now. When I bought my first 2, I was in I had started traveling, but I still was in Baltimore. I still owned a house in Baltimore then. Hey, and how was I able to defer gratification? All this, I mean, that's been my personality my whole life. I've been able to put off on buying things, and I was already, you could say I was anti-hyper consumerism already. I realized it's probably since 2010. I mean, since the financial crisis, that people just spend. And that's just part of their that's a major part of people's problems, is they just, if you can just save and live a modest lifestyle, you're in good shape. You can live a good life, a comfortable life. So I was already in the situation where I was had a mindset of being somewhat frugal. So when I saw Bitcoin, I knew it was a long-term type of investment, and it wasn't just something to flip around. I mean, I still knew what a savings account was. A lot of kids don't even know what savings accounts are. And
is that something you do with your files? Save them to an account?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what dude, I have encountered like 19-year-olds on TikTok and stuff. I'm involved with some reach out on TikTok for Bitcoin. And I mean,
not dating, but Bitcoin reach out.
Totally, with Coinbeast. They're a Bitcoin outfit I do some work for, and we're just trying to get the youngins into Bitcoin. But my Lord, I can see how they would not know what a savings account is at all. What they know about cryptocurrency is whatever's popular. A famous person said Dogecoin was awesome. Dogecoin is the best, and you try to tell them about Bitcoin, they don't even want to hear it. So yeah, I always had the savings mindset, anti-hyper consumerism. I know that's a long term, but definitely in the United States, I mean, you were supposed to spend. People are very confused. Like, when are you going to spend your Bitcoin? Why didn't? And I'm like, dudes, I bought it for like in the 3-digit realm. Why would I want to spend? Like, I don't need to spend it now. Why do you want me to get a Lamborghini? I mean, you get a Lamborghini. I'm fine. You know, going from one Airbnb to another. I don't have a car. I mean, it's been good. Frugality pays off over time. Long-term thinking.
Yeah, there's a good life is possible for everyone if we can resist this Edward Bernays society trying to convince us to succumb to all of these pretty things that are portrayed in the thousands of advertisements that we're subjected to on a daily basis.
Yeah, I don't get how so many people, I think that's why they hate marketers so much, because they fall for it. I mean, you don't have to fall for marketing. If you see a pretty face on TV telling you to buy Coca-Cola, it doesn't mean you're going to have to go out there and buy Coca-Cola, but most people do apparently. I mean, resist temptation. It's pretty easy for me, but for some people, it's not.
Yeah, you're a little bit unique, but hopefully the profits, hopefully your story can inspire people a bit. So are you also into altcoins, or are you just a Bitcoin guy?
Oh, I'm just a Bitcoin guy. I'm a unique beast. You said I'm a unique guy. I'm a unique beast. That's what I tell people to be. Fitting in is overrated. So you don't need to fit in life. Being a unique beast, being yourself is what life is all about. But going to your exact question with the altcoins, obviously when I first got into I had heard of Bitcoin in 2011. There were like no altcoins then. When I first bought my first Bitcoin there in 2013, there definitely was Litecoin and a few others. So I had the experience of seeing the altcoin market really explode and go from like 40 alt. I mean, I remember when CoinMarketCap was just like a page. Now it's like, how many they're like 5,000 coins or something like that. So no, I'm not into them at all, because I have seen the cycles. Okay, I lived through 2017. I saw the pump and dumps. I saw the ICOs. And people have the right to compete with Bitcoin. I have no problem with people doing it. I just like to point out the difference, that there's the one that has an anonymous founder who's probably deceased, and they can't be that founder can't be blackmailed.
You don't think it's Adam Back?
I don't care who it is. It's a bunch of crypto noise. It's a bunch of crypto noise. Everyone worrying about
speculation.
Yeah, people worrying about it. We don't know who it is. We know who the founder of Ethereum is, though. I mean, there's no doubt about that. It's Vitalik Buterin, and he could be blackmailed in theory. But some people like to have a coin where they do know the founder, where there's someone they can worship. Okay, they can have that. But I think it is a point of weakness when you have a founder that is known, and every altcoin does. Every Bitcoin is unique. It was the first one. It's been around the longest. So I'm not interested in buying any of the altcoins, because they most of them are pump and dumps. But I am interested in them being novel, being different, innovating. That's cool. If they can bring stuff to the table and maybe Bitcoin can incorporate it one day, that's great. I do think Ethereum is better than all the other altcoins. It is different. It's definitely not Bitcoin. Bitcoin and Ethereum are apples and oranges, but Bitcoin is way above Ethereum. But still, Ethereum's number 2. And there are all these people that say that Ethereum is going to be eclipsed. My sayings are this: Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. Everybody's trying to be the next Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. But Ethereum is the next Ethereum. It lives in its own world also. But don't get confused here. I'm a Bitcoin guy. I am the BitcoinMeister. And I only tell people to buy Bitcoin. And that's been very, very good to me. That strategy seems boring and simple. But again, Jimmy, you're buying it in the hundreds. I mean, again, I bought Bitcoin. I've only bought a few Bitcoin for more than $700. Only a few for more than $800. Only a few. So it's clearly been a very good strategy when we're living in a world where Bitcoin's over $50,000 now.
Sure. So I'm something of a cryptocurrency novice. So even to someone like me, like someone who's a little bit late to the party, you would say that the major upside would be investing in Bitcoin.
Well, I wouldn't say you're late to the party at all. I mean, it's not as early as it was last year. Before, when Michael Saylor of MicroStrategy announced that his company was buying Bitcoin as a treasury reserve, instead of having dollars in their treasury, they had Bitcoin. That did shift the game to encourage more corporations to buy Bitcoin. So that took Bitcoin, from very early stage to, semi-early stage. So, but you're still early because there's no Bitcoin ETF yet. There's only a few corporations have bought into Bitcoin. So you can still get in. So I don't like when people say they're late to the game. I like to correct that. I mean, people have been saying they're late to the game since 2017. I mean, back in 2017 when we had the big ramp up, people were like, "Oh, I'm late. It's too late. It's 19,000." It was only 19,000 for a few days, and then it was on sale eventually for 3,000. Those same people made up excuses. Those are called no coiner excuses. So yes, for the new people, I just say buy the Bitcoin and treat it as a long-term hold. Hold on for at least 4 years because it's basically a 4-year cycle. Every 4 years, there's the Bitcoin halving. And if you look at the
when
cycle,
is that up again? When is that happening again?
March of 2024, most likely. So we just had it in May of 2020, and right slowly after May of 2020, it ramped up, and then within 8 months it goes crazy, and now we're in that goes crazy part. That's what happened in 2016. It was July of 2016 we had the halving. And it ramped up slowly until January, and then it went wild in 2017. So we're in the going wild period right now. And so if people are watching this right now, I would get it now because we're in that going wild period. And but don't get discouraged. There are going to be days where it goes down by a lot too. You got to treat it at least 4 years. Hang on for 4 years so you can get used to the cycle.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of meditation lately. It was something that helped me to get through the brain damage of the year 2020. And I can see how that is going to be like really helpful in having a long-term view with cryptocurrency. Because unless you have a pretty good mechanism for maintaining a little bit of emotional detachment from immediate outcome, you're going to see the price go through different swings, and sometimes they can be alarming. Sometimes there's sometimes there's like a 20% loss in a single day, right? And we need we need tools for mental fortitude to weather those storms and sail through them on the deck of the yacht without our cocktails being perturbed.
You put it so nicely. You have to get into the correct mental state, okay? You've got to get into that strong hand. You can't look. If you look at the price all the time and you get worried, stop looking at the price, okay? But there are so many people who don't get into the mental state. They are used to traditional financial markets and traditional financial assets, and they panic. You cannot be. You should. If you need to meditate. And if you're watching this on YouTube, pound that like button for what you just said. I mean, that was
a very
good point. Very good point there.
Thank you. How do you? Okay. How with the HODL, with the buy and hold strategy? How do you resist the temptation to, like, I know when I have I'll have some Bitcoin in my Coinbase account or local Bitcoins account, and I'll think, oh, I need some money, or I have something that I need to buy. Is this where it's helpful to have your Bitcoin somewhere that it's not quite as easy to access?
You are on the right track there. You read my mind. You answered the question just at the end there. Yes, don't have it on Coinbase. Have it on a Trezor, on a physical storage device. If you've got it on a physical storage device, locked up in a safe, you're not going to spend it. You're not going to have that temptation. You're absolutely right, though. If it's on some third party, first of all, it's hackable at that point. But even if you trust Coinbase, even if you think they're just as secure as anything, there will be that they make it real easy for you to spend it, to get rid of it. They probably even encourage it in some ways. So if you've got that type of mindset, you don't have it make it hard for you to spend it. And making it hard for you to spend it means that you have it more secure than if it was easy to spend. So yeah, third party websites like Coinbase, not good. And learn to get a storage device like a Ledger or a Trezor, and you'll be in good shape for safety also.
And that's what you have?
Yeah, I've got numerous hardware devices. Yeah.
Oh,
Trezor,
really?
yeah. Trezor, Ledger, a digital BitBox, different types of ledgers. I've got people say. I mean, I've been sent things over the years too. People that want me to discuss it on the show. They're like, well, try out my storage device. So I try out their storage device, and obviously, I mean, the one I talk about most is Trezor, but I have numerous ones. I have it split up all over the place. All the way I take care. I don't keep it all in one place. I mean, I have a lot of them, and so you got to keep some things straight in your mind, definitely. But it's worth it. This is about personal responsibility.
Would you mind showing us a few of them?
All right. So this is what's it called? HW1. It's a ledger, and they don't even update this on their for software anymore. But if you know what you're doing, you can have some Bitcoin on it. I mean, you could have a lot if you wanted to. Now, I'm obviously showing it to you because it's pretty minuscule. This is not a major source of my Bitcoin or anything like that. Since it is old too, and they don't update the software. I mean, you can't even buy these anymore, I don't think. But it works for me. I know how to use it, and so it's quite small. But the hardware wallets, and I mean, it's very thin also. Now they're a little thicker, and that they have numbers on them, and there's a big screen on it. But this is simple. It's very good. And if there was ever an emergency, I could swallow it and it would come out the other end or something like that. Whatever. But if I gave this to you, you wouldn't be able to steal my Bitcoin. You would need to know passwords and stuff like that. I mean, I could say, here, there's like $100 of Bitcoin on here, have it. And you wouldn't be able to get the $100 off of it. I would. And somewhere on this planet, I have a backup of this, which is just seed words, which would allow me to upload it onto another device. And then I would be able to move it. So I could hand you this and say, hey, it's yours. You would struggle with it for a while. You try to figure it out, go to some mega hacker or something who might be able to do something, but probably nothing. And in that time, I would just go to my backup seed and upload it somewhere else, and then move the Bitcoin, and you would have nothing. But this is what an old one looks like.
And that communicates with a smartphone via NFC?
No, this you plug into the computer. This doesn't deal with a smartphone at all. All the hardware devices I use, you gotta plug into a computer. There's different things you can set up with your phone, and I don't like setting up stuff with your phone. I am not a phone guy at all, but I do know products that definitely do that. There's something called the Ballet wallet. I know that's just with your cell phone, basically. I think it is. I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't trust my phone that much.
No, I don't either. Like, there are people that actually keep their private keys on their phone. Don't do that. That's like really bad. But hey, people do what they're gonna do. I don't trust my phone at all.
Okay, I'll show you something I've got, which is kind of similar to that, and you can give your take on it. This is one of these gold-backed cryptos that I'm sure you've heard of. And so I bought just a gram of gold from them, and it's here on this hard wallet, which synchronizes from it's a ERC20 token.
Okay, so it's Ethereum. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, this was a company called...
Yeah. Well, we're getting into two different things here. I don't believe in the gold-backed token stuff at all, but that probably is a pretty legitimate way of holding it, at least. There's no, you can't see the private key on there. I mean, it's I would have to play around with it, but that's what's the name of that company?
Oris. It's a European company. And what I liked about them was that they published third-party audits of their gold. You know, if people are auditing their own gold, that's not very trustworthy. And then they had decentralized vault relationships. So they all had relationships with I think it was Loomis, Brinks in Zurich, and so the fact that they had gold at different vaults with different very mainstream gold custodial companies, that struck me as being a bit more credible than when they say, well, we've got the gold ourselves, don't worry, trust us.
Yeah. Well, anything that's anything on this planet, and they say, hey, it's backed by gold, and you don't know if they have the gold, you're just I mean, it's terrible, actually. But they clearly have gold. I mean, well, not clearly, but they make it look like they have gold there, which is better than most people. You know, we're getting into a different topic here of you know, what is cryptocurrency backed by, and some people think it needs to be backed by gold type of thing. I'm not a gold guy at all, to say the least. I think it's old fashioned and whatever. And if you're going to get into gold, why not just hold the gold? Like, have it in, you know, I don't believe in complicating matters like that. But you know, they've got something going on over there. To each his own, and innovate any way you want to. But I like the you know, if I was going to have gold, and I'm not going to have gold, I would just like to, you know, have it. But I mean, it's kind of a pain in the butt to have too. I mean, it's, you know, if you want to bring it across the border, I mean, that's the glory of the Bitcoin. It's pure digital gold without being backed up by gold.
Yeah, certainly. I'm curious. Have you ever made any mistakes? Have you ever gotten scammed? Have there? I mean, you've been in this for a while. What are some learning experiences that you've had?
Well, I've had people, you know, want me to invest in their companies and stuff. You know, send me, you know, 6 Bitcoin, invest in my company. That's something that a lot of people fall for because it's their friends, and they don't. Well, back in the day, at least, I don't think anyone would make that mistake now. But that's something I would say to people, like, don't complicate matters. If someone's got a Bitcoin business, is that business really going to be able to beat the returns on Bitcoin? And most people don't think of it that way. They're like, oh, this is the most unique investment opportunity. This Bitcoin thing is growing, and they have this business plan that is just so awesome and so professional looking. And so you invest in the business, and it's better over the long run. Well, a lot of the businesses just go out of business. So you're like, that's it. That's the end of your money. But, you know, for the ones who survive, just usually investing in Bitcoin, you get a better return than investing in a Bitcoin business. So I think that's a big temptation to alert people about, because especially the people that are coming to you, investing in my business, they're your friends. They're not trying to rip you off, and they think they're going to be successful. They don't even realize they shouldn't even be doing a Bitcoin business. They should just be buying the Bitcoin because they'll get a better return. But some people are very entrepreneurial, and they think they can beat the long-term Bitcoin return, and I guess more power to them.
Yeah, it's a environment rife with predators. I did an interview with a young guy that had bought he was, you know, like buying weed, and he got into cryptocurrency, into Bitcoin, like a lot. That seems to be a common.
You bring up a very good point. Early on, there were a lot of dudes who were smoking pot, and they found out about Bitcoin, and so they combined their interest, and they found it very easy and anonymous at one point to use their Bitcoin to buy marijuana. So that's what they would do. They would have so much more Bitcoin today if they didn't buy marijuana with it. And it looks horrible when they go back and see, oh yeah, I spent 1 Bitcoin on a dime bag of marijuana. You spent $50,000 on a dime bag of marijuana, $10 of marijuana. I mean, it's unbelievable. But that's a regret. That, I mean, not for me, because I don't do drugs or anything like that. But for some guys, and it's amazing. Some of these potheads that stuck around Bitcoin, they still spend a little bit of Bitcoin here and there when they're low on marijuana. That's bad. I mean, I don't know how anyone can do that still. I don't know.
Don't do that.
Yeah. But you look back, and people, I've heard stories, let's take it away from marijuana. There was a time like 2014 and 15, and when the Bitcoin price was going down, and people were like, we have to make sure this is a regular currency. So I'm going to go spend it on coffee. I'm going to go spend it online, buy socks. And you think you're spending $6, $4, and what it was you were spending 1% of a Bitcoin on socks or on coffee. And now, what is 1% of a Bitcoin? 1% of a Bitcoin is over $500. So that's quite regretful for some.
And those socks have holes in them now.
Yes, indeed. And they might be like Litecoin socks or something. Anyway, I mean, who knows what you bought?
So my website, MarketplaceGOLD.com, is, I'm not sure if you checked it out. I know you're a real busy guy.
Well, I checked. I made sure that you had all your social media links. I checked out I'm there right now, actually, on the Marketplace Gold Twitter feed. I've definitely been there. Yeah, I saw the site. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a geo directory of businesses, large and small, organizations, freelancers, accepting cryptocurrency for payment. And because I would love to see a world where every business was accepting cryptocurrency. I'd love to see Bitcoin become the backbone of the global economy. In fact, I think in a lot of ways, I'm hoping that's inevitable. Are you a fan of that sort of thing, or do you think that altcoins are maybe better situated to serve as a medium of exchange for the myriad of transactions that we engage in the economy?
Well, there's these second layer solutions they build on top of Bitcoin. Lightning Network is supposed to take care of making transactions cheap and fast using Bitcoin. So I am up for people experimenting on the Lightning Network and trying to make Bitcoin more like the dollar currency. Just be able to go into a coffee shop and spend your Bitcoin. And so I'm just not into spending my Bitcoin. But I think we will get to a point where it is definitely many people will be easily accepting Bitcoin, and it will be easier through the Lightning Network to spend Bitcoin at places. And I think that is a space where altcoins can do something, especially right now, because the Lightning Network is, it's not as normalized as it should be, not as easy. I mean, some people are going to try to correct me and say it's super easy, but hardly anything with Bitcoin is super easy right now. So I think I'm a guy that says let the Lightning Network compete, let the altcoins compete, and I have no problem with people accepting altcoins or Bitcoin at these stores. And yeah, I think the very least that can happen from businesses saying they accept Bitcoin is that it's marketing. It brings awareness that there's an alternative financial system out there, and and most people say, to have a complete alternative financial system, you've got to have people spending it all over the place. Okay, that's great. That's laying the groundwork for it right there.
Sure. I have a way to cross-reference on my website by businesses that are already plugged into the Lightning Network, and I've got a few Lightning Network friendly in there, and I suspect that's going to grow.
Yeah, it should. I mean, especially if they're selling like low-cost stuff, they really need to be using the Lightning Network right now. Because I mean, if you're buying something for $5 and then the fee is like $3, that's not too good, because the fees can be, it depends on what time of day, but fees can get higher on the regular Bitcoin network. But if you're selling cars right now, if you're selling your house right now, you don't need to worry about anything Lightning Network. I mean, it's all Bitcoin. And there are people that want to sell. I mean, in New York City, I just read a story. There are people trying to sell their businesses for like 26 Bitcoin or something like that, which just makes me smile, because I remember when 26 Bitcoin, it wasn't worth very much money at all. But hey, things change.
Yeah, now that's probably like the Tiffany's down there at the bottom of Trump Tower or something like that.
Who knows?
Okay, so I'm curious. Are you so okay? So you're a hardcore hodler, and are you like are you on the plan to hodl for life until you're food for worms, or is there a certain? Are you going to wait until Bitcoin is the de facto global reserve currency and then do some diversification? What's the real? You're a long-term thinking kind of guy, so I'm sure you've got a 50-year plan.
Yes, indeed. You bring up excellent ideas on what some theories on what some people are going to do with their Bitcoin. For me, it's all about, again, the 4-year cycle. So back in 2016, when I started talking about the 2020 halving, I'm like, there is no way I am going to sell a Bitcoin until after the 2020 halving. Okay. And people thought that meant, oh, well, once it gets to 2020 halving, you're going to sell all your Bitcoin and get shot. I'm like, no, I'm just, I'm leading by example here, and I'm just putting a cap on what I can possibly do here. So we got close to the 2020 halving, and I see what I still have in the bank in terms of fiat. Again, because the YouTube brings in some fiat still. I have some savings in fiat still. There's ways I get fiat, and now I said to myself, even before 2020 halving, I'm like, no, we're going to keep this. I can keep this thing going at my current comfortable lifestyle without cashing in a Bitcoin until 2024. So my attitude is, try to hold it as long as freaking possible and reevaluate every 4 years or so. But right now, no, I have no plans on cashing. I have never sold a Bitcoin for fiat, never. And that has been a very, very a good strategy. I am retired basically. I mean, I don't need to work anymore. That's over with. But I do the YouTube and stuff like that. But you're like, so hold it until you die, you ask? Well, and I don't have any kids. I do have nieces and nephews though, but I might have kids one day. You never know. And so we'll see with that. But I've got this situation where I talk about the 2020s. We're living in this golden age. Okay, it's such a positive time. 2020, people try to say it was the worst year ever. Oh, if you're a person who thinks that 2020 is the worst year ever, you've got a bad mindset. Okay, I think it was the best year ever because I did really, really well with Bitcoin. On March the 12th of 2020, everyone says that was the worst financial day ever. Everything crashed. And you're right. Bitcoin it went down into the 3,000s for a few minutes there. But it was in the 5,000s, the 4,000s, the 6,000s, and it stuck around the 6,000s for a week or two or more than that. I don't even remember. Everyone thought it was the end of the world. There was blood in the streets, literally, on March the 12th. And I bought 2 Bitcoin on that day. It cost me $10,000. Now, what's that? Where are those 2? What are they worth right now? They're worth $110,000 right now. And so for me, I saw Michael Saylor buy Bitcoin in September of this year for MicroStrategy. What a positive moment. 2020, excuse me. And so I saw Bitcoin just go wild at the end of 2020. It was a great year. I took advantage of all the. I flew around the United States. So many cheap flights because everybody's scared. But you got to look at this decade as you could focus on the negative. All these people in 2020, most people focused on the negative. If you were in the Bitcoin overlay and you were focusing on the positive, my Lord. So when I look at this decade, I see innovation going wild. I mean, I see life extension technology coming out, okay? But there are going to be plenty of people that aren't going to be able to afford the life extension technology. I want to be in a position where I'm going to live 200 years, baby. So if you've got that mindset where you're thinking like, hey, over time, they're coming up with life extension technology, and I could live 200 years, I'm going to try to keep this Bitcoin going as long as possible. So I'll be able to bribe the person I need to bribe to get the life extension technology that all the normies are going to be screaming, oh, it's unfair. Why are the millionaires getting the life extension technology? Because you didn't plan. You got to plan ahead, dude. So we don't know what this decade is going to bring. We don't know what the next decade is going to bring, but we have seen the exponential growth in technology. So it's good. I think it's going to blow our mind. So that right there is a reason that I am very concerned. I don't need to get a Lamborghini ever. I would rather much live to be 200. And I've already got that mindset. I'm going to live to be 200. I mean, you've got to get that in your head right now. If you think that's a possibility, you're on the right track in every aspect of your freaking life here. Be limitless, exponential mindset, it's called.
Yeah, I have came in the, I don't know, the past couple of months to share this real optimism about the future, powered by this economic revolution towards the mathematical certainty that removes the need for trust, that removes the need to rely on us fallible human beings in our financial transactions. Because like a lot of people in 2020, I was getting kind of black pilled on the world. In fact, I made this kind of dramatic video about how society is advancing towards a dark age with plummeting IQs globally, and this is going to be the bad times made by weak men, that we're going to need to be strong men to make the new good times through. And now I'm really seeing some reason for optimism, because there's this cancerous, diabetic, vampiric fiat banking system, which has been on the neck of humanity for a long time, and and it seems like the leaders around the world are just doing their damnedest to over leverage that system even more than it's already been over leveraged for so long. And that seems to me to really make it an inevitability that Bitcoin becomes the global reserve currency. And I might link below this video, I might link on the show notes to this video to the presentation that was done by Stefan Molyneux, where he talked about a future where governments are forced to use Bitcoin because they turn all of our dollars and euros into toilet paper. And in that future, we're not going to have these insane, useless wars, all of the, wherever people lie on the political spectrum, they are unhappy with the governments for spending money to do absurd things and advance wickedness in the world. And there's going to be a lot less of that in this future, where governments have to spend money that's on a blockchain that they cannot hack the way they can the current system.
Well, it's very interesting. Governments can put their money on a blockchain. They can call it Fed coin, but they can mess with that blockchain. They will have centralized control over it. So you think they're not going to be able to hide anything, but they'll be able to roll back stuff. And it'll be very convenient for people to use their Fed coins also. So you call this system a diabetic system. I like that. But throwing in diabetes into because there are a lot of people that get diabetes because they're hooked on the freaking hyper-consumerism system out there. But I will say this. I think that smart nations will put Bitcoin into their treasuries to help bail them out. But they've got a lot of tricks up their sleeves to make their fiat currencies, to digitize them, to blockchain them, whatever you want to say it. And as long as they keep the people happy, as long as the people aren't too envious, most people, they'll be able to. I don't see an end to the end of the dollar domination of the world, but I see a great and expanded Bitcoin world where there'll just be two different worlds. Most people will be stuck in fiat they'll be broke. They'll own nothing and they will love it. I know that has been bantied around a lot, that saying, and all the smart people are saying, well, who could ever do what this Klaus Schwab says? You'll own nothing and you'll love it, and Klaus and his buddies will own everything and you'll rent it, and people will fall for it. If you give them free money, but let them have their little world. There will be a huge opt-out world out there for the 20%ers, for the people in the Bitcoin overlay. So I think governments will be able to do what they've done for years and years, dominate and scare people. I mean, we saw what they were able to pull off this year I mean, in 2020, and how powerful fear is. So I don't think, basically the conclusion of this long statement here is, I don't, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency can do awesome in a world that is still dominated by fiat. So I don't think we have to have the end of the fiat regime to have everybody in Bitcoin be happy. But interesting that you brought up SM there. I don't even say his name because I'm so, I think YouTube is going to like take the video down if I say his name.
You're right about that.
Anyway, he's a character to say that he's on BitChute. That's what I see him on BitChute. I mean, you're on BitChute. And I congratulate anyone who's on BitChute. That means you're not an algorithm slave, because most people, they complain about YouTube and then they don't leave YouTube because the algorithm keeps them there. The algorithm tells them what to watch. They can't simply use their brain and say, oh, SM is not here anymore. I used to like to watch SM. Let me go to BitChute. I mean, I do that. But he's been a little weird with his cryptocurrency lately. He's been kind of getting gimmicky. He had a show on that was just like, hey, oh, which cryptocurrency is the best? Tell me which crypto. I mean, and that gets the views, basically. I think he knows that Bitcoin is by far the best one, but I can't read his mind. So.
Gotcha. And what I'm curious, if you don't spend your Bitcoin, how do you pay your rent?
With the fiat, I mean, with the YouTube money, I have saved. Okay. I have a bank account. I sold my house. At one point, I owned 2 houses in Baltimore, where I am from originally. I don't own my houses anymore. They're gone. And most of the money went to Bitcoin, but some of it went to is in my bank account. I've set it up in a way where I can, I live frugally, and I get great deals on Airbnb. I'm a master of traveling around and getting great airline deals. I mean, I'm going to fly back to Baltimore. It costs $50 to fly back, or less, $49 to fly from Miami to Baltimore, right there. $50 is not that much. I mean, people sometimes during my YouTube show, someone will send me $50 right there. That takes care of a flight right there. So I've got it set up. And if worst comes to worst, yeah, I would go into the credit card if I need be. As I don't advise anyone to juggle credit card debt, but I think I'm good enough with money that I could do that, but I'm not in that situation.
Do you anticipate yourself doing the digital nomad thing or expatriating in the future?
Well, I am a digital nomad. I don't have a house. I just go from one place to another. When I'm in Baltimore, I stay with family. I only need to be in Baltimore. Sadly, last year I was only in Baltimore for 3 visits, but my usual plan is to be in Baltimore four times a year. I'm usually in Baltimore for 4 times a year, and so the rest is I just go from place to place. I own no car. When you own no car or no house, that takes care of a lot. There's no insurance at that point.
No dog.
There's no animal. That's a really important thing, not to have an animal. No wife or kids. So I don't have these. Those are attack vectors. I call them attack vectors. Everything that I described. So usually, 2020, I was not able to leave the country, which was disappointing on a certain level. But I got to experience different lockdowns in different states, and It started out when I was in California, so I got to experience the worst of the lockdowns. These crazy people, but now I'm in Florida, which is it's freedom. It's awesome. It's great here. So I don't anticipate myself settling down anytime soon. I don't think I will ever own a house again. It is such a tremendous attack vector. Clearly, the local municipalities in the United States are going to vilify the homeowners and tax them up the yin yang to pay for some of the nonsense and some of the debt that these local municipalities have. So I don't want to be involved with that at all. I've owned houses before, and I've dealt with the inspectors and the taxes. It's just such a pain. It's such a relief not to have to deal with that. With Bitcoin as your main asset, there's no housing inspector. There's no insurance you're paying. There's no one that can trip over your Bitcoin and sue you. It's great. It's great. That with a house, people, if there's ice on the ground, they try to slip it in front of your sidewalk and sue you for lead poisoning if they're renting it from you.
You won't have to worry about the ice on the sidewalk there in Florida.
No. But again, it's with the Bitcoin, you don't have to worry about those type of attack vectors right there. So yeah, I encourage people out there to go beyond, because most people, to fit in, they think they need a house. And yeah, I guess to fit into mainstream society, to fit into with Buffy and Biff or their equivalents in the 2020s, you got to say, well, I got this $770,000 house. And I've got 2 cars, and I'm sending the kids to private schools. Those guys are broke, man. They are working their tuchluses off, okay, in order to keep up that facade. Why? Just to fit in. Fitting in is way overrated, and people just can't even fathom, like, well, how can you afford traveling around the United States? My question is like, how can you afford being Buffy and Biff? I mean, it's quite cheap for me. You know, if you master it, if you're able to defer it, if you don't need fancy things, I don't go out to eat. I make my own food. I mean, right there, that's a lot of savings. So I encourage people to look into. I mean, my shows, I have Beyond Bitcoin shows too on my channel. You can go to disruptmeister.com, go to my archive, see my Beyond Bitcoin shows. I just don't talk about Bitcoin. I talk about the lifestyle of just traveling around and being a unique beast.
I tried to go to disruptmeister.com and it didn't load for me.
Yeah, sometimes you got to type in twice, or just
okay.
look up Adam Meister on YouTube. That'll get you. All disruptmeister.com does is take you to my YouTube, like a page that lists all like 2,000 of my freaking YouTube videos.
Sure. Okay, I've got 2 more things that I want to ask about. The first is something that I think a lot of people will be curious about, and you can say as much or as little on this topic as you want, which is, for someone who has done really, really well with Bitcoin and apparently will continue to do so, what is your tax strategy?
Oh yeah, I can. This is real easy. Don't sell. That's the thing. When you in the United States, I'm taking it from an American perspective. I'm an American. I will always be their tax servant. Okay, you can't drop that. I mean, it's a pain in the butt to get rid of your citizenship. It's really I have no plans on doing it because I mean the passport, when we were allowed to travel, it let me travel anywhere. But the tax situation is this: when you sell your Bitcoin, it's capital gains right there. Okay, I don't sell my Bitcoin. So I don't work. Now, when I sell my Bitcoin, it'll be Bitcoin that I've held for over a year. So it'll be short-term capital gains tax. I bought my Bitcoin at Coinbase, okay? And a lot of people say, oh, that's horrible. They tell your information to the government. Yeah. Okay. I'm not trying to be a tax cheat or anything like that. When I got into it, I knew that, I'm buying this thing. If I ever sell it one day, I'm going to have to, follow their rules. And so, you don't have to sell your Bitcoin. That's the problem. These young people, they get into it. They think, oh, you have to do something with it. You've got to trade it. The minute you do that, you're on the hook for taxes. And there's so many people that don't understand that at all. So there's a honeypot of, quote unquote, tax evaders out there for the United States government to go after right now, because people have made these mistakes. They've gone back and forth a million times between Bitcoin and fiat. That's not a pretty situation. You've got to figure out, what you owe in taxes. They've got your social security number if you bought it. So that's another reason just to buy and hold. Now, I am of the mindset that eventually the tax situation will become easier on Bitcoin, and that you will be able to use your Bitcoin to buy just about anything. So maybe one day I will want to buy a house for some reason, or I will want to buy one of my nieces or nephews a house or a car, and it'll be a lot easier. And all these the long term the tax situation, I won't have to worry about paying the taxes that I would have to pay right now if I sold my Bitcoin. It'll be a seamless process. So that's my tax situation. I avoid the taxes, by not selling your Bitcoin. And there's nothing illegal about that. That's perfectly, the United States government is fine with that, because they are just raking it in with all the people who don't grasp that freaking simple concept.
Yeah. So it's as long as you just HODL the capital gains, you don't have to pay capital gains. That comes at some point if you have a change of heart and you want 10 Lamborghinis.
Well, and that's the thing, you just don't play. And all these people watching this show out there, they hate the fiat regime. They think it's so evil and warlike. Okay, then don't play in their fiat regime. Stick in Bitcoin. And that's what I do. I stick with my Bitcoin. That's my savings account. But so many people could talk a big game, and then they're like, well, got to go trading, got to go in the fiat. And the minute you touch it, you're in their realm again, okay? And you're playing by their rules. So I'm not into playing by their rules, okay? I'm into playing in the Bitcoin overlay. So and they're perfectly fine with that, because they know, the IRS, the government knows, they know most people can't do what I do. They know that most people can't defer gratification, that they have to trade, they have to do something with their Bitcoin. And just the minute they do that, they're on the hook right there. They're back into the fiat realm.
Sure. And the final thing I wanted to chat with you, going on a bit of a tangent, is you said you want to live to be 200 years old. And anti-aging, biohacking is something that I think I share a lot of passion with you about. What is your plan for that?
All right. So right now, I'm in the middle of every day I fast for at least 22 hours. I do intermittent fasting. Fasting every single, and people are like, well, what do you do? So, you have your cheat day. I'm like, no, what I mean by intermittent fasting, I mean every day since the summer of 2013. Okay. I've been doing intermittent fasting. There is no one meal a day since 2013. Okay. But then there's some days where I have longer fasts. Like right now, I'm in the middle of a 44-hour fast. Okay. So I make sure that at least twice a year, I do a 72-hour fast. My record is 120 hours. Oh. That's 5 days right there. So one meal a day, that's a big thing. Longer fast, that's preparing the body. Interval training, which I do. My interval training is sprint interval training, which is once a week. I sprint 15 times in a row for 70 yards. You only need to do it 8 times in a row, but I've become it's become quite normal for me. But I run 20 miles a week. That's not necessary. But I stand every day. I create a standing desk wherever I'm from. Wherever I'm at, I build a standing desk. I mean, this is just on top of a milk crate right now. I mean, some people pay hundreds of dollars for standing desks. Another way I spend money, I just get a milk crate from the supermarket, put the laptop on it, and then I'm standing. I don't eat any. I only drink water. I don't do drugs. Huh?
You must drink coffee.
No, I don't do no caffeine at all in my life. This is all natural energy.
I don't know if people are going to believe that.
No, they don't believe it. But most people think I'm on cocaine. Most people think I'm on cocaine, or that I drink coffee, or that I'm poor because there's an ugly background. No, I can tell people. I can say, watch my videos and see, me talking about Bitcoin since 2013. And they're like, no, you don't own. I made a TikTok video the other day about how, I bought that one Bitcoin for $210, and they don't believe I have one Bitcoin. So, let people believe what they want to believe. That's fine with me. I know the truth. But most people just are they see someone that's happy and is thin and has got a lot of energy, and they just default to drugs. That's the negative mindset that most people have. You can be healthy, people. You can be free. It's all out there for you. And I love that. And if you are healthy and free and have a good attitude, you're going to be able to extend your life to a point where people, I'm not smart enough to come up with the life extension technologies that are going to, really change people's lives. I'm not an engineer or anything like that, but I do know to do the research and to listen. There's that guy, Peter Diamandis, I think his name is. He's got a channel, and he talks about all the companies he's invested in that are working on life extension. So I keep up to date on different technologies that are out there. But the biohacking thing, that's what the people in Silicon Valley are doing right now. They're doing things like me, the intermittent fasting, and I'm not on a carnivore diet, but I mean, because I still eat fruit and stuff. I don't think fruit is like deadly, but I don't eat any processed food. Just only real food, only real food. No, I have not had bread. I don't eat bread or anything like that since 2015 or something like that. No, definitely no processed carbs, no sugars. Yeah, just natural food is very, very important. And some people think, well, I can't do it. It seems because most people are addicted to carbs, but you could drop it. You could. It's delicious to eat regular food. And I'm a disciplined person. I think we're going back to the beginning of the show here. So having food discipline makes your mind able to have financial discipline too. If you're only able to eat once a day, you'll be more likely to be able to hold on to that Bitcoin for 4 years. I mean, that's what I've seen.
Yeah, domain-specific self-control generalizes.
Yes, that's a good way of summarizing it. Very, very good way.
Are you doing any supplementation, any biohacking tech to complement the lifestyle stuff?
No, so the supplementation is a very interesting question. I'm gonna have to research that more. There are guys like Diamantes, and there's another guy. They talk about taking some drug that used to be a diabetes drug that might
metformin.
Preserve. Yep.
I'm not a fan of metformin. I looked into it, and it can cause desensitization of the body being able to uptick the B vitamins, and there's some questionable long-term effects on mitochondrial function. So I actually have that. Well, I got a crazy stash, but that one I looked into and then I shied away from it.
Yeah, there we go. And so I have a take on drugs. I don't trust any drugs. And even if a smart dudes are saying, like, so what my policy is right now is just doing it as natural as I take no supplements. I'm doing it as natural as possible. And I avoid another thing. They use shampoo. I don't use any shampoo in my hair.
No, don't. And your hair looks, maybe if it was gelled, I'll have to find a picture of you with your hair gelled so people can appreciate it.
When I was younger, I used to spike it with gel and spray and everything. And it just goes up on its own. This is baking soda clean, man. I use freaking baking soda. I brush my teeth with baking soda. Okay. So I really am not, it's really sickening today. People would rather smell one of those candles burning that's got all those chemicals in it, it's a fake smelling coconut or fake smelling flour, than actually smell real food cooking. I've gotten into situations where I'm cooking meat and people are like almost vomiting. They're like, oh, what is that? I'm like, it's food. They are used to poisonous sprays now. It's crazy. It's really crazy what's happening. People have become desensitized to poisonous smells and sensitized to healthy smells. It's really weird. So, but again, my take is just staying naturally healthy as possible and knowing that technology increases at an exponential pace, and we're going to get, I think we already have life extension technologies and we don't realize, like older people who get into their 90s, they are put on certain drugs that extend them give them a longer lifespan than they would already have. Whether it be they've gotten their whatchamacallit taken out. What am I thinking of here?
Thyroid?
Your thyroid. Yeah, a lot of people that have lost their thyroid, but they take the fake thyroid medicine and it extends their life perfectly. People would have died back in the day without them. So there's old people already are being extended more so than they would have been in the past, but we just don't realize it yet because it's like they don't look younger. It's just that they're living instead of living to be 89, they're living to be 97, which is pretty cool right there. But we're going to get that down to, and I will say this, if you look back in time 50 years, 45-year-olds look a lot better than they used to, or 55-year-olds look a lot better than they used to. So they're, especially people who take time to maintain their bodies, okay, and to stay thin and fit. So I do think by the end of this decade, it really is going to be obvious that we have life extension technologies, and I really give credit to guys like Elon Musk, who's working on the brain implants and all that that are trying to make people's lives more comfortable, that have already suffered various setbacks, trying to reverse that stuff right there. So it all goes hand in hand, trying to get rid of blindness and trying to get rid of death. They're together. They're working. Nanobots are going to be working on that. So we'll see. I love the innovation that's out there. And that's the other thing. The savers of the world, the Bitcoin holders of the world, they're going to become the first trillionaires. So they're going to decide on what type of life extension technologies are going to go out there. What's going to get the funding. So it will be interesting to see.
Sure. Okay. So as a final takeaway for the listeners, which I suspect skew male, I'll just underline and enthusiastically agree with something you said there, which is don't use shampoo. You don't need shampoo. I've been 5 years no shampoo. My wife, she was my girlfriend at the time. She would compliment me on my great hair, and then she was shocked and appalled that I never put any shampoo. I don't put product in it. Just a little bit of water in the shower, and it's fine. Your hair gets to retain all those great natural oils, which provide like a nice contour to it. And those oils all get washed away, and in exchange you get BPAs, and you get all the parabens, all these nasty chemicals getting into your scalp and into your hair. If you're a guy, I think maybe women might need shampoo. I'm not an expert on that, but guys, just take a break from the shampoo, take a month off, and then ask people to smell your hair if they're willing, if they're not too afraid that they're going to get COVID from putting their nose nearby another human being. Ask people to smell your hair, then go 2 months. Ask people to smell your hair again, then 3 months. It's kind of like no fab. You do a month, you do 2 months, you do 3 months, and then you just keep going, and you get better and better and better. You don't need that shampoo. You're free of it. It's all just part of the conspiracy to get you to buy shit that you really don't need.
Yeah, and look at the ingredients on the shampoo, dudes. It's scary. It is really scary. So yeah, I agree. I haven't used shampoo since 2013. I just put baking soda in there, and you can just do water also. Just water is better than what is in that freaking shampoo. The ingredients, even in like the quote unquote natural shampoos, they still have these weird chemicals in them. I can't even believe it.
Yeah. Okay. It's been fun, Adam. I am going to link to your BitChute channel, because that's really where people should be listening. They should really be using the BitSlide app. If people have used the BitChute website and they found it a little bit, they found it to not be the best website, try the BitSlide app and subscribe to Adam, and you'll have a really nice listening educational experience. He puts out videos, not exactly on a daily basis, but several a week, keeping you very abreast of the rapidly changing situation with Bitcoin. And then I'll link to, I would probably link to Trezors, because Trezors, I'm thinking a lot about a Trezor now.
Okay, yeah, and if you can, link to my Twitter too. That's another way for people to. I'm TechBalt on there. TechBalt. I update that a lot.
Okay, and are you in Gab Mines also?
No, I'm on Parler though. I'm BitcoinMeister on Parler.
Okay, cool. Well, great. I look forward to a continued conversation with you and everyone else.
Thanks for having me on. It was rocking.